pizzeria chain on an online server, but as later revealed, alternatively from the usual ingredients, they also plan to use newborn babies as the main ingredient instead.
The year is 2021. Everyone has gone mad. People are either stuck inside their homes waiting to pain out, or going outside and embarrassing themselves.
Please remove your bra from the bottom of the fountain.
Humanity in the 21st century is at its lowest point since Logan Paul filmed a dead body and cursed our timeline forever. Of course, most people cannot stand the lack of social interaction. So what could be done? Well, thankfully, the internet's a thing. It's a series of tubes. Within the past year, online chatting apps such as Discord have had a big boom in business thanks to everyone being stuck inside. But for some, that wasn't enough. Some needed more. Some needed to get even more personal. Some needed VRChat.
Please get the hell away from me now.
Dude, back off.
So, for the people living in decommissioned underground Soviet bunkers, what's VRChat? Well, VRChat's an MMO VR game, or social platform if you want to call it that. As the name implies, its biggest focuses are on the interactions you can have with other people using virtual reality headsets. Virtual reality has also had an equally good year, thanks to people using that in order to escape the current stresses of everyday life. It's a new technology that's been attracting the curiosity of many different types of people, looking not only for different ways to experience video games, but also, as proven with VRChat, different methods to interact with strangers. VRChat prides itself on its use of many different avatars one can use. At the same time, it can go to many different ones created by not just the developers, but also by the community. And it's some of those maps that we're going to discuss in this video. However, in a very different way. These are the liminal worlds of VRChat. Liminal spaces are something that has attracted the curiosity of a niche group of people recently. That includes me. To put it short, it's a fascination with a transitional environment that looks real but at the same time seems to look kind of off. As displayed on the screen right now, you may recognize some of these places by looking at the pictures at first. But the longer you look at them, the more your sense of reality may seem to distort, making you wonder if you truly recognize these spots or not. A feeling of familiarity is felt because you feel like you've been here before, maybe as a kid, but only briefly. Perhaps passing by to get somewhere else, not even paying attention to where you're going. Yet, somehow, your brain noticed this place and memorized it, locking it deep within your subconscious, and it wasn't until now, by looking at these images, that these very specific memories may have been poked and unlocked. If you've been on the weird spots of the internet recently like I have, you may have been fascinated with this sort of stuff already. In fact, I would even bet that you already watched a video about it. Like for example, videos on the strange feeling that you get walking around an empty map in Garry's Mod. It all feels familiar at the same time that it all feels alien. A feeling provoked by the fact that the game uses an old engine and, in itself, is a mod of Half-Life 2. A game that already invoked an oppressive atmosphere, with its level design heavily inspired by sci-fi dystopian Orwellian themes. It all feels familiar and safe, at the same time that it all feels hostile and strange. So, why the hell would the VRChat, a game where you walk into the Krusty Krab and see whatever in God's name is happening here, would provoke this sort of feeling? A game that came out in 2017, a more updated engine, with the only focus being on talking with other people wearing funny avatars. Well, let me tell you why. VRChat is interesting in the way that it allows anyone with basic knowledge of Blender and Unity to port their own homemade maps into the game and then publish them for the community for them to try out. This is a blessing and a curse. A blessing that allows freedom for aspiring map designers to show off their work to the public, and a curse that results in some rather unnerving maps being created. The eerie feeling I get from just being outside on this balcony and hearing traffic coming from downstairs when I'm only looking at what is clearly a PNG panorama in an otherwise wide and relatively empty map is greater than what any VRChat horror map can do for me. There's no point for this house to be this spacious. There are no shadows. The lighting is clearly artificial. It's like being inside of a fever dream. Why is this little maintenance area so tight and well lit? I can see how rudimentary the texture work is on everything, like it's all made of clay. Am I meant to feel like this is normal? And why is this roof so loud? I'm not saying I don't enjoy this sort of feeling. In fact, I love it. It's an intriguing feeling that needs a very specific set of elements to be triggered. The only game that has ever given me a similar effect like this is Gmod. Feeling the same effects I felt from OG mob maps in this game is almost nostalgic in a way. It's all the more amplified by the fact that this game was not made for this purpose. VRChat, as stated before, is a social platform, designed to house social interactions with strangers only possible online. When you strip it out of that, it's like it just becomes a whole different type of game entirely.
승차 안내 말씀드립니다. 타는 곳 2번으로 한국어 튜토리얼 월드로 가는 무궁화호 열차가 들어오고 있습니다. 타는 곳 안쪽으로 한 걸음 물러서 주시기 바랍니다. 고맙습니다. The train bound for VRChat Korean Tutorial World is now approaching.
This train station has an entirely different feeling to it when you're not overhearing the voice of a nearly 30-year-old man coming out of a semi-naked anime girl. Not just because that would be distracting, but also that's because what you would expect to see in this game. When you're all by yourself around here, it feels like you're an actor that fell asleep at a movie set and woke up after the rest of the crew left. So now you're just wandering around without a script, wondering if you should screw around with the buff left behind by the team or just leave. So, what else is there? Well, what if I told you that this bizarre feeling could only ever get more bizarre? With me saying that, you'd think I'm suggesting that someone made a map that's intentionally eerie, a map that's intentionally trying to weird you out by looking too familiar. Well, yeah, someone did make a map like that, although I'm not sure if the feeling was meant to be intentional, because there's no other map in this game that gives me more dread than the cursed McDonald's map.
I don't know what they put in McDonald's Sprite, but that shit.
I've played on this map before with friends. It's strangely popular, yet nobody talks about just how bizarre the whole thing is. There's no lighting, there's no ambient occlusion. The floors and walls are too clean for a McDonald's. The cheery background music gives a strange threatening vibe, and the whole map just stretches out for way too far. You see that big cardboard building pretending to be Safeway in the distance? You can walk to it. Why? No reason. But you can't go in it or remotely near it because of the invisible wall around it. So why can't I go there in the first place? Why is this map giving me so much freedom to explore my surroundings when there's nothing to explore except a ridiculous amount of emptiness and buildings that are way too small to look real? Where is everyone? I know this is a private instance of the map, but even then, this would still be unnecessarily big even if there were 13 Kermit the Frogs going around jumping in front of the traffic. This feels like a map made by an alien who visited our planet once, went to a McDonald's, left, then try to build a replica of what it saw during its stay. Now, I know some of you might be thinking that I'm being way too harsh on this map. I get it. It is made like this so that PC users and Quest users can hang out together in a relatively light map that doesn't make your computer chug and your stomach churn in case you're wearing a VR headset. It's not a bad map on its own, it's just strange, for the same reasons that make it decent and popular. I like it, at the same time I utterly despise it. Now, you might be thinking, are there any maps that don't give me this feeling? After all, with the way I've sounded so far, you could be mistaken into thinking that every VRChat world is a liminal space in my eyes. Well, that's not the case. This, right here, is my favorite VRChat map. The atmosphere is fantastic, the details are nice, and the lighting is nicely used to create a very relaxing map that is a joy to hang out with friends in. And on top of that, it does not give me the liminal space feeling, due to doing the exact opposite of what a liminal space is. It's detailed, it looks lived in, and it looks like a real place. Sometimes, depending on the way you look at it, you can even forget that you're in a VR world. There is a big difference between being here to being here, to being here to being here. I'm not saying that Cozy Cabin is a better map than these two examples, by the way. All of these maps were designed by different people with different levels of knowledge on how to design maps, with different intentions on top of that as well. Hell, Cozy Cabin, as good as it looks, has a pretty huge flaw. It looks too good, so much that Quest users can appreciate it because they can't play on it. The simple fact that the Oculus Quest can be used to play VRChat actually is probably responsible for at least half of the maps that invoke the sort of feelings that I've been talking about.
Oh, jeez.
Gary's mod has been having a mini resurgence recently. This is thanks to how many people who grew up with it finally realizing just how weird the whole game was. This is because most of its maps were designed with gameplay in mind first and visuals in second. It's a feeling that some people like to think only happens with old video games, but I disagree. VRChat right now is one of the best games out there if you want to explore worlds that would make you feel like you're stuck inside visual representations of your weirdest childhood dreams. Hell, I played it on desktop and I feel it. I can't even imagine what it would be like if I were actually playing on a virtual reality headset. I would love to try it though, honestly. And these are only a few maps that I handpicked for this project. The reality is there's loads of maps out there in VRChat that have the potential to create these effects. And honestly, that's what I play VRChat for. I don't play for the VR part, the chat part, sure, sometimes. But more importantly, I just love hopping from world to world and seeing what pops up when I load in. And these kinds of maps are honestly some of my favorite to stumble upon. Just knowing that somebody probably spent their entire day or night designing it without even putting much thought into it, and then accidentally creating something that has such a strong yet subtle effect without even completely intending to do so is just nothing short of admirable. Or maybe I could just be going insane from the social isolation. Yeah, that could be happening too. That could be happening too, I guess. Hi. Sorry about that. Alright, so first things first. I would like to thank Boterdork for doing the editing for this video. Boterdork is a super talented video editor. He's a super nice guy, a really nice friend, super chill to work with, just an overall great person. I absolutely 100% recommend you to go check out his YouTube channel. It will be in the description below. And I would also like to thank you for watching this video. I know this is very different from the YouTube channel. You know, usually I don't make this sort of thing. I can't remember the last time I posted anything of substance to this YouTube channel, to be honest. But I mean, hey, it's never too late, huh? Anyway, yeah, I've always wanted to make something like this. It's something that has been on my mind for like a while now. And I'm just glad that I finally got around to doing it. Usually I didn't because I felt discouraged that my equipment was not good enough, which it clearly isn't. But hey, I just decided to make do. So I'm glad that I finally got around to do it. It was fun to record the footage, to write the script, to voice the script. I had a lot of fun doing it, and even if the final product is not that good, I'm at least happy that I got around to doing it. And it would be wrong to not go on without shouting out some of my favorite content creators when it comes to this sort of video. video essay, documentary, analysis, whatever you want to call it. So I would like to shout out my main inspirations for this video. That would be Goose Booze, very very awesome guy, awesome YouTube channel. Go check him out. Rainbot, Atrocity Guide, Mama Max, Nexpo, Shrouded Hand. Who else? Barely Sociable. They are awesome content creators, and you should absolutely 100% check them out if you like this sort of video. Anyway, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. See you around.